Farber here again, back for Season 2 of Tackle Primetime, powered by the National Collegiate Scouting Association. We're going to continue to break down the Tackle's top 200 football players in America by getting a handle on the top defensive backs roaming the secondary. So once again, here's Coach Bob Chmiel and Coach Randy Taylor, who are going to break down the recruits and discuss what factors athletes should think about when choosing a camp. Coach and Coach, take it away.
Once again, Lodi, it's great to be back. With the emergence of the spread offense all across the country, shutdown corners are at a priority. Shutdown corners and ball-hawking safeties with the ability to support the run. You've got to have them against these types of offenses. College coaches want to find these guys and lock them up. If you can get 2 and 3 in every class, if you can, you're going to be in great shape from a recruiting standpoint.
An eraser at corner can take away a third of the football field. You know that, Coach. I always evaluate DBs based on foot quickness. Can they flip their hips and get into transition? Can they run with the receivers and break on the football? With that in mind, coming out of the top of our list is Dre Kirkpatrick from Gadsen High School in Alabama. He's got size and speed, makes him very valuable. He can cover the taller receivers inside and out. He's a smooth athlete that can play on the outside as well as the inside, and he forces the run in either position.
This young guy's got a great vertical. As you mentioned, he's 6 feet 1 inches tall, great back pedal, great change of direction.
The other thing about Dre that I really like is that he'll high point the ball, he'll go up and get the football. He's athletic enough to adjust to it and plays it. He plays the ball and not the receiver.
Now take a look at the top safety in our class who also may have the ability to come up in the box and play linebacker. Damario Jeffery, Columbia High School, Columbia, South Carolina. I think this young guy made a great decision. I think he's going to play for one of the premier college football coaches in the country. At 6'3", 215 pounds. The old days, we used to call this guy a prototype wolfback, kind of a half defensive back and half linebacker that can do a lot of things.
DJ has very good instincts, and he tacks the ball inside out. That's what I really like. He uses good angles, and he is effective around the line of scrimmage. And you're right, Coach, he could play linebacker as easily as safety.
We want to show off the skills of some of the other defensive backs in the nation. Craig Loston, Eisenhower High School, Aldine, Texas. A few players out of there from time to time.
6'2", 193. He's an impressive kid. He's very aggressive. He's like a heat-seeking missile. That's what I thought of when I'm watching him play. He's so much fun. He plays with passion.
You know, when you mention Aldine, Texas, high school football is important in Aldine. You're going to get a young guy that's going to know that he has a high upside because of the way he's been coached at Aldine High School and have a great career at the collegiate level. Devonte Holloman, South Pointe High School, Rock Hill, South Carolina, 6'2", 214. Again, another young guy. You know, we talk about great athleticism. Great athleticism, you know, relative to the position that he plays. I really like him. I like the way he turns. I like the way he runs. I like the great pursuit angles that he takes. And again, I mentioned this with a couple other guys. He's a want-to guy. He wants to get to the football.
He is a raw athlete, and he does take good angles from the back end. You know, he's one of those guys that attacks inside out, and he's got a tremendous upside. Darren, Myles, Carver High School in Atlanta, Georgia, 6 foot, 175 pounds. This guy, he could play either side of the ball. He's a special athlete, but I think defensive back is what's going to be his best position. I love the way he breaks on the ball, and he can really high point it. He's just got great ball skills, good feet. He's going to be fun to watch, too.
Well, you mentioned the high point. You know, it's so necessary in this day and age, as I mentioned before, with all the fade routes and the jump balls and that. You got to have a guy that's athletic, but also has a good vertical. Not only a good vertical, but the ability to time that vertical when going for that jump ball with the wide receiver. Hey, this might be one of those guys that plays both sides of the football.
As in tradition, we want to wrap up tonight's Tackle Primetime with our must-know inside recruiting information.
This week, we want to help recruits understand the importance and real meaning of summer camps. Every recruit has a dream of being discovered by a coach at a top 5 program like Texas, USC. But you know, that's just not reality.
When I was working at camp, I always had a list of players we were recruiting that needed to be evaluated. If you weren't on that list, you may not get the attention others are getting. That's why you need to find out what schools are seriously recruiting you ahead of time so that you know what to expect when you get on campus.
College coaches at camps get a list of the people they know are going to be at that camp. By position, they get those lists. I recommend that recruits start contacting coaches early on to see if they are going to receive an individual invite to summer camps. If the coaches are specifically contacting you to express the desire to get you to camp, you can expect to be on that list.
It's really important to understand what an individual invite is. It's not a letter with a brochure. Typically, it'll come by personal correspondence, by email or phone. If you aren't personally invited by the schools at the top of your list, it may be time to turn your attention to other schools.
The other piece of information that is really valuable is to find out which other schools will be working the camp ahead of time. When I was at Michigan, okay, we had 1,200 young guys at camp. We brought in over 50 college coaches. 50 college coaches to come and recruit and work that camp. And they were given an opportunity through the course of camp to move around to each position to see who was out there. You know what? That's how you get more bang for your buck. Find out who's working the camp, how many coaches outside of the actual coaches that are on that particular staff.
Awesome tips, Coach and Coach. That's going to finish up another episode of Tackle Primetime. Be sure to check in next episode as Coach Chmiel and Coach Taylor break down more of the nation's top recruits and talk about what it takes to get recruited.